What's up, off the top media fans? DJ Chewy here, official Flint Firebirds DJ, and I am excited to talk about my favorite sport, ice hockey, with the boys. Welcome to Rink Side Chatter, fellas. Who's ready to drop the puck?
Well, I'm ready, man. It's been a great week in the NHL. Lots of great games across the board. We got the Heritage Classic tomorrow with Edmonton and Calgary.
I'm excited for that, actually.
Some big news dropped this week.
Maybe what's left of Edmonton.
Also had some pretty big news drop this week, too, though.
Oh, which one do you want to talk about first? Because there's been lots.
There's been lots of news.
Well, there's the biggest one of the week. We want to get it out of the way, or do we want to wait?
Oh, let's talk about Pinto's suspension right now, because that.
Let's go, Dusters. Come on.
So, I'm really confused by this situation because I think on the broadcast because these players are allowed to bet on all sports besides hockey. They're allowed to do that. It's been confirmed that he wasn't caught betting on actual NHL games, but they're saying it's a third party. So that's where I'm like, okay, so is he betting on games? Was he betting on over-unders or something?
He had to have been using a buddy or something, man.
Well, it's it's kind of funny you mentioned that, Dusty. So I'm down here in the great state of Michigan in the U.S., and we just had something recently very akin to that happening with our Detroit Lions from the NFL. Star wide receiver Jameson Williams actually caught a 6-gamer because he was betting on basketball inside of the team facility. So again, very similar rules to the Bettman show, but 6 games versus 41, stark difference right there.
Well, I mean, it's pretty close considering 6 is almost half of the NFL season.
Oh, it's like
17.
It's like it's a little over a third or a little under a third, yeah.
But when you had the first suspension for the NFL, it was for the full entire season with Calvin Ridley.
Yep.
So they have to make an example out of the first person they always do it for.
Yeah, but I mean, at Pinto's case, this is now, I believe, the second or third longest in NHL history for suspensions.
Yeah, it's been up there, yeah.
That seems like, and he's coming off what, an ELC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's still a kid. He made a mistake, whether or not it was him or him passing on some information. I mean, he's technically not even an NHL player at the moment because he's an RFA.
And when you put it like that way too, right? Like, would you put him in the same lines of Raffi Torres? Like when Raffi Torres got that, what was it, 32 games? I think it was.
No, but we're also talking about Evander Kane, who is a notorious gambler.
Yeah, he
never faced any kind of suspension like this.
Well, it's all kind of asinine to me. I mean, just look right on the jersey patch of the Sens. It says Bet 99 right on it.
Yeah, right on his helmet.
Like on the helmet, yeah.
You can't
I don't know what it's.
You can't be promoting gambling and then shunning it.
I don't know what it's like down there for you guys, but up here on all our sports networks, when the games are on, it's like every second commercial is a betting.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
I was just about to say that. I was going to say I was watching the Leaf game tonight, and I watched a 2-minute commercial with Leon Draisaitl and Mitch Marner in it. And literally just before that, it was like the segment they came back from. They were actually talking about the gambling, like the situation. So it's
especially in the NFL down here. It's real big, and it does get annoying, Dusty. It does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's between Bet Rivers and Bet this and Bet that. It's like, shut the hell up, man. I just want to watch some sports.
You're arguably one of the state's biggest markets right now, and I say right now because they're still a hot commodity, is the Vegas Golden Knights. What's Vegas known for?
Gambling.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Right when they went into Vegas, people were saying that the Vegas and the gambling could start corrupting the game.
Yeah, but
that was the attraction. That was the attraction for the Vegas or the Oakland Raiders to come over to Vegas too, and they're trying to build a lot more professional sports over there as a tourist attraction. You know, hey, come in, see the game, and bet on it at the same time and everything else. So
bet on it real time while you're here. Yeah.
But then it's probably a lot. There's probably going to be like the hotels buying all those tickets and giving them away to their guests.
You know, that's what everybody thought at first, but the Knights have had not only sellout crowds, but like an engaged crowd. And I say this to my best friend Kyle all the time because, man, he hates non-market teams. Like he hates all the teams in the South. I mean, we can all agree Phoenix don't deserve a damn team. Send them up.
They definitely don't.
Make them give it to a team that deserves it. But there are some markets like Nashville. Nashville's real big.
Dallas is a very growing team.
Nashville's probably one of the biggest ones right now. That crowd fan base is just amazing down there.
I had a buddy who moved down specifically because he was a huge Preds fan. Like moved straight from Michigan to Nashville to be closer to the Preds.
Like that would be like it looks like a lot of fun there. Definitely in my top 3 of like other buildings besides like my home team that I would like to go.
They get it, Dusty. They put on a show.
Yeah. I have 2 problems with Nashville. One, I have a buddy that lives within Nashville. He is a huge Chicago Blackhawks fan.
Ugh.
And I remember
there's always one.
I remember a couple of years ago, he sent me this thing they give out at every home game. It's a piece of paper that says "Go Preds" on the front, but on the back, it explaining all the rules.
Yeah,
I'm like, that to me, don't go to hockey if you don't understand the game, or at least a sliver of the game.
That's
two.
That's the way our game's going to grow, though.
I fucking hate their fan base. Fang fingers.
Dusty's right though, man. You gotta, if you want to grow the fan base, you want to grow the sport, you got to bring in new blood.
No, I get it. I just, as a traditional hockey fan that's grew up on it, I just don't like it.
Oh yeah, man. I grew up in the Joe where it was stand up and you might get a beer dumped on you, but damn it, we're gonna be loud as hell.
Yeah.
So do they still do that now?
Detroit is significantly less exciting since they built the LCA, but with the team on the up and up and that 5-2-1 record and bringing the cat in, it's changing. And they actually brought back the old goal horn.
I loved that move. I loved it.
Yeah.
So I tweeted out, I think it was a week and a half ago, and I was watching some highlights of a Detroit game, and I literally said, within the 5 years, Detroit will be a cup champion again.
Oh, yeah.
I think so too.
They're gearing up properly. You have Stevie Y at the helm. I mean, look what he's done in Tampa. It's still lasting now.
Mm-hmm.
So if he could do a half of what he did in Tampa with Detroit, the Atlantic's in trouble.
Well, it's a slow build, obviously building the team back up. I mean, look at how long it took to build the Leafs into getting out of the first round, right, Shadow?
Yeah.
It's
Just saying, Buster's a Leaf fan too.
I'm a Leaf fan too.
Got him.
That's all right, man. Listen, it takes a while, and the way to build in a salary cap era is to get a young nucleus in, both on the blue line and with your front 3. And I mean, if you could score a netminder in there that can play you 50 games a year too, that's a bonus. But
yeah,
Yzerman did it right in terms of building the young nucleus, being patient, and then bringing in someone like the Cat.
Yeah, he's not trying to rush Detroit's situation at all, and I really appreciate that. Like, at first, that's what it looked like Dubas was doing, and then he got real analytic with the Leafs, and it turned into a nightmare. And we're still dealing with that nightmare because now we're cap heavy. We need certain things to help us gear up properly, and we can't because you have to maneuver it in a way that it works, and you can't do that without giving up a key piece.
Well, I mean, all we got to do is look over to the blue and orange shit show happening over there in Alberta, and so the reason Ken Holland actually left the Wings is because he couldn't build the same type of thing in the salary cap era. So you knew Ken Holland can maybe bring in, keep around 3-4 key guys. And I mean, obviously, there's no question about how well Draisaitl and McDavid play, but that team is not built to win a cup. And you're starting to see those fractures happen right now. But at first, it was choking when the moments were big, but now it's, man, they can't even get off to a start. Teams are starting to figure out how to shut down the McDavid Draisaitl.
Yeah, Dusty, did you watch the intermission there? I think it was between second and third, and McDavid was talking.
Yeah,
he literally said teams have figured out him and Draisaitl on the penalty kills and the power plays. Like, and you could see the frustration in his face, even saying that on national TV.
So what they need to do is split them up.
Yeah.
But how do you do that and make them just as powerful? You can't.
Because you don't got nothing around them.
Right, but that's how you build up other players, too, is by putting them with them.
There's nobody that can keep up with either of them.
Well, look, hey, the Caps did this when Ovi and Kuznetsov were starting to go down a little bit. Split them up for a while, let them kind of find some new areas to shoot and pass out of, and it seemed to work. But it still stands to be true. Even though Ovi is going to be in the same spot every time, he still manages to put it behind the net.
Yeah,
the fact that Ovi scored, I'm going to say 700 plus because he's scored from other places,
Mm-hmm.
but 700 plus at least from the same spot, mind blowing.
Yeah, but it's
that stat that came out this week about the Capitals and Ovi.
Oh, the 10% of the power play goals.
Yeah, he scored 10% of 300.
Take
power
that,
play
Robert
goals.
Lang.
That's wild to me.
Oh man, Scalz has got a good point though. I think a lot of the reason why Ovi's been able to do that is because you're moving the pieces around him more than you're moving him. So I don't know what the answer is out there in Edmonton, but that 1-5 start is just abysmal. That is not good.
At the same time, though, it's still McDavid, and he can just go off at any time.
He can, but if he continues this start, I think this is the first time we're going to see him out of the top 3 in scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he still has plenty of time to do it. Just depends on how long he's out injured.
Not if his knee keeps acting up.
He practiced today.
He's only coming back because it's a big game that he needs to be in because it's a marquee game on their calendar.
Which, by the way, man, the pants gloves combo on those heritage jerseys for the Oilers, pretty sick look.
Yeah. I don't like the Calgary look though.
Maybe you guys remember.
I've always loved the Calgary look.
I believe the reason jerseys.
I believe the reason they're doing this Heritage Classic is because it was 20 years ago, I think almost to the day.
Yep,
that they did the first one. It was Montreal, Edmonton.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one. I remember watching that one live and thinking, man, that would be cool as hell to have the Maple Leafs play the Red Wings at the Big House, have half the stadium blue and white, half the stadium red and white. And boys, I'm so happy that we got to do that.
That's a great game.
That's absolutely insane that was 20 years ago, that first game.
Mm-hmm.
It was Jose Theodore, right?
Yeah.
Man, Theodore was still in the league at that time. Yeah. Talk about a journeyman.
I just remember like the toque over the helmet.
Yeah.
Yep. That was over the helmet. Yep.
So I got to ask this question before we start covering more modern this week. Do you guys think the outdoor games are becoming a little too overdone and overrated?
Yes. It should be, in my opinion, it should be an exhibition game.
Like we're ruining the magic to it.
I think it should be one game a year, and it's got to be like either a Canadian stadium or an 06 stadium. But I mean, like the year that they held in LA at Dodger Stadium, like what are you doing?
If they want to do the outdoor thing, why don't they use it for the All-Star game?
That would be cool.
Isn't it like?
Because then it doesn't count. It's kind of a disadvantage of having that. Right? Like, remember Lake Placid? They had to delay the game because of the sun. Like, sun in players' eyes. And
I really enjoyed the Lake Placid game other than delays because it really felt like an ODR fucking game.
Yeah. Well, and again, you got to go out to it's the marketing aspect of it. Mm-hmm. When you can take something and you can surround a single game with that much media attention, put it in a bigger stadium, fingers crossed, you're going to fill it. I mean, obviously they'll fill it in the Calgary versus Edmonton game, but you throw an outdoor game in Nashville playing the St. Louis Blues, and it's not going to have nearly the market.
I'm going to take a shot at the Edmonton Elks real quick, but this will be the first time their stadium is sold out in 5 years.
That's a nice stadium. At first, when I saw it, I was like, why the hell are they playing at Lambeau Field in Green Bay?
I've been to that stadium a few times in my life for like different reasons. Never a CFL game, but I've been to that stadium, and it's really nicely done.
Yeah, it looks like it stood the test of time over there. So, but yeah, shout out to the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah, they haven't won a home game since 2019, but
yeah. Hey, it sounds like my Detroit Lions, baby.
So you do enjoy it?
I like the outdoor games. I enjoy them. It's a different atmosphere.
Yeah, and that's the marketing aspect of it, though. Like,
and there's two close to home this year for me. They have two in MetLife Stadium in New York. You have the Devils versus, I think, the Flyers in one of them, and then the other one's the Rangers versus the Islanders.
Which, by the way, I know this is just a little bit too far off the cuff here, but man, their third jerseys in for the Devils are just the worst, man.
The black one?
Jersey?
Yeah, the one that just says jersey. Like, we get it, bro.
Yeah.
You're wearing a jersey.
Yeah.
Speaking of third jerseys, did you see the Rangers ones get leaked?
Oh, no. I got to look that
Those
up.
are dope. Those are dope.
I think they're fucking fire.
I think
And a lot of people are having Shadow's opinion on it. But yeah.
Listen, in fairness, when I think of a third jersey for New York, I always think Lady Liberty.
Me too, man. The Gretzky era.
Like, that is just their go-to third, and it always should be.
Mm-hmm.
Or,
I'm sorry,
shoot me
Haley.
if you will,
I know you're an Islanders fan, but your jerseys had a fucking fisherman on them.
shoot me if you will, but if
Those
you're gonna
are
rock a
dope.
newer
Hey,
style,
Don't you knock on the Gordon's Fisherman's, okay? That
I'm
reminds
just
me.
love
saying,
that
it looked like it
jersey.
was an advertisement for frozen fish food.
Listen,
Oh,
man,
man, that is a dope jersey.
I come from the era of the IHL where you had the Manitoba Moose and you had the Orlando Solar Bears and my favorite, the Detroit Vipers, with ugly ass eggplant purple and teal
two
green.
of those teams still exist. The Manitoba Moose are in the AHL,
Yep.
and the
Solar Bears
Orlando's
are
are in the ECHL.
Yep.
But what I wanted to say about a third jersey for New York, and I think this would be amazing. If you don't want to do Lady Liberty, fine. Why not pay tribute to one of your two tallest towers that don't exist anymore and have a third jersey that?
I'm surprised they haven't done a World Trade Center uni. Like there's a lot of different landmarks in New York that you can
I
choose
think
put
what
in,
might have
but-
happened, it's the same thing as Toronto. Why any sports team in Toronto can't use the CN Tower. They're trademarked in a way that you can't use them for commercial purposes.
Oh, that's a good point. Because listen, you boys are gonna love this. I'm rocking my Jays hat tonight.
Oh, there you go. But,
Oh, get off it, you bearded bastard.
No, I'd rather watch the Red Sox, man.
Oh yeah, but yeah, Scalz. Those are man. I like that dark blue. The stripe pattern too on the arms is pretty killer. Looks like like the socks.
I like that. I think when it's worn, you're gonna see the stripes go all around the elbow. I think it's just gonna look hot, like sick, like fucking fire.
Yeah, looks much better than a black and whiter that just says Jersey on the front. So
Hey, thanks Fat Sexy for the subscription. We appreciate it.
We
yeah.
have a nice. The Leafs third jerseys, which we wore tonight, I think are fire. They're Drew Series one.
yeah, those are pretty killer.
I really like the black look to it. To me, that's awesome.
I like.
Yeah, I do like the stars number 3s, but I do
The neon one.
I'm sorry,
The neon ones are fire.
There's two on the Alties that are just absolutely top tier, and that is the San Jose Sharks California Golden Seals, and then the freaking Anaheim Ducks, the Mighty Ducks 30s.
Oh, Wild Wing, love that.
Oh
one.
yeah, and the Minnesota Wild, the North Star tribute jerseys.
The ones that came back with this year. You talk about the green and white, green, yellow, and white ones.
Yeah, like from the
Wild logo. Yeah,
from the freaking Neil Groton and John Casey days.
Yeah, I like that coloring.
So, given that you're a Red Wings fan and you spoke about the Big House game, one of their other jerseys that they wore was their motocross style ones, and I thought those were garbage.
Oh yeah, I wasn't a fan.
That was such a bad take on a Detroit classic. Like,
yeah, it was like in the '90s that third jersey the Wings would wear every now and again. That it's actually their third jerseys now, the red and blacks. Those used to be. That's like a take off of that. It was just white with red with the Detroit across the front. It gave more of that Detroit Cougars like pre-1923 look.
More you learn.
I know my Wings, baby.
There's a lot of nice jerseys in the league, though, like the alternates.
Yeah, but who's got the worst, just in general?
Jersey.
Yeah,
Montreal.
Pretty bad.
And it's sad because the Devils look when they had the green on there after they moved over. Yeah, when they moved over from Colorado from when they were the Rockies, and they had that green on their uni. That was like in the Shanahan days.
The Kansas City team used to have some nice jerseys too.
Stop it, Haley. The Rangers do not have the worst jerseys. Get out of it.
Oh, come on.
She's an Islanders fan and doesn't know what it's like to win anymore.
Listen, the Montreal Canadiens are the worst because they represent a toilet seat.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think we can all agree on that.
I've said that forever.
Oh yeah, Haley.
Wings that original Islanders jersey. I don't like the orange in the Islanders, to be honest.
The orange and blue, it just reminds me so much of the Mets. Like it's
I gotta say,
and the Knicks.
Hot take. I don't think the Isles have ever had a bad jersey.
I love their fisherman one, but like
I did too.
Their jersey right now is
But that's just like classic logo, man. That NY with the stick. Oh, we got a little shit talking in the chat.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love the Leafs to do something that doesn't involve a leaf on the front, just to fuck with things for once.
But they can.
Give me
Blackhawks,
something that's not a
you
leaf
can't...
on the front that represents Toronto.
So a pot leaf.
I think that's more Montreal.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna put a map of Jamaica on there for little.
No, but like we were discussing it, and like I already alluded to it with the copyright issue. But a CN Tower jersey would be sick.
Oh, Fats 3XY. That's bad, buddy.
You're not wrong, though, Kyle. You're not wrong.
Oh man, Kyle.
All right. That was okay.
What else we got to talk about?
Well, let's before we dive into some more NHL talk. How are the Flint doing this season?
Well, we came in preseason ranking in the OHL in the Power 16. I mean, we were sitting number 12, but it took a little longer to get the NHL guys back than anticipated coming back from camp. So it was a slow start, and then it was hot for about 2 weeks, strung together like 3 really nice wins. But we just traded Ethan Hay over to crosstown rival Saginaw Spirit.
Okay.
So it looks like we're going to do a little bit of a rebuild, but we still got one spot for an overager. And, it's a long season, but, we made a coaching change three games into the season. Giroux's looking real good, though. Little guy, Giroux's looking real good.
That was, what with that situation, what happened? Like, wasn't a coach was accused of something, right?
No, that you're thinking of. That's when the Firebirds first took over in 2015, and they had the player walkout.
Oh, okay.
That was shit.
That's not even that long, eh? Holy.
Yeah. They moved up from Plymouth in 2015. They were the Whalers, but that's Dusty. You're right. That did happen way back then. But it's been a full turnover of ownership, coach, obviously players and everything. But no, it's on the up and up. They're averaging about 2,500 fans a night too in a 4,000 arena. So
that's really good for an OHL team, junior hockey.
So
you
got it. Yeah.
Go ahead, finish your thought, and then I'll.
No, I was gonna say it's kind of off kilter. So Flint's always had hockey. We used to have a team called the Flint Generals, which was pretty much just if you watch Shoresy, that's pretty much it. They're just a bunch of has-been brawlers.
Just a bunch of no-show players, huh?
Well, during the lockout, we had Darren McCarty playing for him, and I think at that same time, Chewy and Darian Hatcher were playing for the Motor City Gears too. But so people in Flint are used to a particular brand of hockey. But I got to say, I think the juniors team gets that, and you see a lot of brawls during the game.
So is it similar to that? What was that league with the Netflix documentary?
Oh,
the Danbury Crashers.
Yep. Yeah. So it was very similar to that, like about same level. I think that league still exists because they got the Muskegon Lumberjacks in there and the Green Bay team.
Are they called the Firebirds because if you light the ice with a match, it'll just because the water in Michigan just lights up?
No, actually, I love that. So General Motors, auto manufacturer, they actually had a huge presence in Flint before they pulled out and kind of screwed the city over entirely. Don't get me started. I could talk for hours on that. But,
they did the same thing in Oshawa, so you're fine.
Yeah, the original Firebirds, the Pontiac Firebirds, were actually produced in Flint.
Oh shit! Yeah.
I had a feeling it was to do with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a reference to the car, not necessarily the mythological creature.
One more question for you, and then we'll
yeah.
get back. How did you get working with the Firebirds this season?
Oh yeah, it's a great question. So Shadow knows I've been on the turntables for 16 years, and my company, because I'm a sales and marketing director for a brand firm, my company ended up synergizing to do all of the video motion graphics for the LED ribbon boards, the Jumbotron, everything, just to kind of like bring a new feel and a new energy to it. And it's funny, the opening video, like the song we use is actually Rollin' by Limp Bizkit, but I crossed it between the Undertaker theme, Rollin', when he's the American Badass, and then the actual song. And because I cut that in a particular way, their director of game day ops was like, "Hey, do you do this like live?" Yeah, I can do it live for sure. My best partner, Chachi, is actually the stadium DJ for the Detroit Red Wings, and I'm his auxiliary. So we're pretty akin to DJing inside of rinks and playing for that. But it's cool because I'm a Flint boy. I'm a Flint native. So giving back to the community, giving back to the team, getting a different feel in it, and man, it's a lot of fun on promotional nights. I'll tell you that much.
Give it a few years and you'll be working with the Red Wings.
Yeah. Well, I already will do a couple of games this year for the Wings, but
oh yeah,
no, that was going to be my question.
A little bit different monster.
That's an octopus, cool. If you will.
Ah, that a boy. Hey, better than throwing rats on there, eh, Scott Mellenby?
Yeah, fuck Florida.
I gotta say, when they started throwing rats on the ice, I thought it was just a knockoff way of throwing octopi on the ice. But when you hear the story behind that, it makes it so much better.
It really does. Dusty or Scalz, what's the next subject you guys wanted to talk about this week?
I mean, everything I had written down we've covered so far. So, Dusty, you have anything?
I know we were talking and like, how did we do on our when we were guessing last week?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Shadow said that Toronto was going to go 1-2-0. You said Toronto was going to go 2-1-0. And Klaus said Toronto was going to go 2-0-1, and he actually predicted it correctly.
Hey, there you go.
Shout out to our special guest last week.
I predicted the Rangers were going to go 1-1-1. They are currently 2-0 on the week. So I've gotten 1 point. If they lose this game or tie this game and lose in overtime, then I possibly can get a second.
There you go.
As for our hot takes that we went through last week, because we do hot takes every single week, Chewy, and then we try and come back next week see who's pretty accurate with them.
Oh yeah.
No, sexy, I don't.
Wait. Shadow thought the freaking Sharks were gonna make the playoffs. Was that a hot take?
Yeah.
He actually thought they were gonna finish second.
Come on.
Listen, motherfuckers, a man can dream.
Dusty had that Ovi would get a hat trick and Sandine would score against the Leafs. Both of those were wrong.
Yep.
Klaus predicted Bedard would go pointless. That was wrong. Bedard scored 1 goal. I'm torn on Shadows because he said the Leafs tandem is not it. And Hall?
Joseph Wool.
Or Joseph Wool, if you will.
Had 2 great games this week, but Samsonov shit the bed in this tonight. So
yeah,
I would say he's correct on that because one is outplaying the other.
Listen, I've watched Joseph Wool with the Marlies for a long time. He's still not our guy, but he's holding it down right now.
I mean, he has the second best goals against average in the league. The only one that's better right now is Jonathan Quick.
Yeah, but
Jonathan Quick leads the league.
Buddy, Rangers.
0.41 goals against average currently.
Holy fuck. Shoot me. What year is this?
Don't sleep on Quicker, baby. It's 2008 all over again.
How many games has he played, though?
5?
Either 2.5 or 3. I know he's relieved Sashurkin in 1 and he started 2.
I bet he
Yeah,
relieves
so that's
Shesterkin in the locker room too.
That's the exact same as Joseph Wall. He came in relief, and he's played 3.
And I predicted that 2 players would get suspended for hitting. I get a half a point because I had one of them. One player did get suspended for hitting, Clifton on the Sabres. And then
there was just another one last night, was there not?
No, that's the one I got. That was the one from last night. And then I was debating whether to give me the point for the one for gambling because
no, that doesn't count. That's not hitting. I mean, that's hitting your odds, but it's not hitting on the player.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a technicality.
Can we? I mean, I don't remember the player's name, but I'm glad to hear, and this is just leaving my mouth as gross as it is. I'm glad to hear the Boston Bruin player that got a skate to the face is doing okay now.
Yeah.
That happened to Drew Miller from the Wings a few years back. That's scary, man.
That shit's always scary. Like,
yeah.
So is it? I mean, Neil Yakupov has 60 goals, right, in his career, and Connor Bedard has like 2. I think we can say that Connor Bedard is the biggest bust in the NHL now.
Connor Bedard actually passed Linus Ullmark in career goals today, so congratulations to him.
Yeah, but has he passed Chris Osgood yet?
Ozzy had 3, right?
I think somewhere up in there.
Yeah, so 3. Ullmark had 3, I think, too. So, yep. Sadly, he's above everyone but Hextall.
Brodeur scored, I think, 4.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Brodeur was the
I think he's the leader in goalie goals.
Yeah, it must have been him and then Hextall.
Hextall, yeah. Anyway,
Garth Snow.
Worst contract in NHL history, right there.
No, that's DiPietro.
No, that's Rick DiPietro.
Oh, yeah. They're both Islanders.
Yeah, but he still gets paid. He still gets paid. He still gets paid.
2028 for DiPietro Day, right?
Yeah, I think it's
pretty sure it's something like that.
Is it
or
September
even like
1st? I think it's September 1st is Rick DiPietro Day.
Yep. It's like Bobby Bonilla Day.
Bobby Bonilla Day is July 1st.
Yep.
That fucks me up because weren't they a tandem at one point, DiPietro and Snow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why I get it confused. I knew it was one of the two. But, like, that's still the dumbest contract. And it's now the reason why we can't sign our players for 10 plus years anymore. Because,
no, that's because of
Kovalchuk.
Because he retired in the middle of it and then came back and got out of his contract.
Thanks,
so it's the same.
It's
the same day. It's the same day as Bobby Bonilla. Okay,
I was right.
So Rick DiPietro's getting 28-29 season.
Good for Rick.
He was a touted goalie too.
He gets
1.5 million
while he works for ESPN, getting paid money there too.
He gets paid more at ESPN than he does right from there too.
Just living the dream, man. Good for him.
I want to say something. Mike McKenna's a piece of shit. I hope you were seeing this because you're still a piece of shit.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, fuck him.
Who?
He's a goalie that when we played him in the Calder Cup final in 2018, I was chirping him on Twitter for years. He's finally blocked me because he's had enough of my shit. But he's a piece of shit.
I couldn't imagine why.
I don't know, man. I'm a nice person. He's still a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You got to call it like you see it, Shadow. Guy's a piece of shit. Guy's a piece of shit.
Exactly.
Give your fucking balls a tug.
There was one more thing I brought up in our conversation tonight that I wanted to bring up because it popped up on my my notifications here.
What was that?
Do you have it, Scalz? I don't remember what it was at this moment.
The NHL rule on the Senators' role in aborted off trade. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think we should talk about the PWHL names.
Oh, those are a nightmare.
Do you know the list? Chewy?
I do not.
Oh, so now then we get a live reaction.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I'll pull them up here.
So Scalz has the list, but like, I don't understand how we're gonna be ruling on the decision.
Do you have that list, Scalz?
I have the list.
Yeah.
You just made the list.
with the Dadanoff thing or Dadoff, however it's pronounced. It's so stupid that we're doing this almost a year later or a year plus later. Like, and to make matters worse, you're fucking handing down a punishment to the Senators.
Yeah, is that the Senators need to be punished anymore?
Yeah, they play in Ottawa. Isn't that enough?
No, they're not in Ottawa. They're in Canada, and it's not even.
Oh, that's part of the issue. I think that's why they.
Tell you what,
you about that for years.
You trade away Alexei Yashin, and this is what happens.
Holy fuck! All right, 2001 all over again, huh?
Yeah, you're just doomed for the next 20.
Alexander Degg.
Oh, there you go. Hey, whatever, man. We got the cat, so I'm happy.
Yeah. So, I think before we get into the PWJ, what we were talking right before we went live about an overtime rule change.
Oh yeah, let's get into her, Dusty.
So, watching it tonight, we were talking about the Preds and how the Leafs didn't even get possession. 3-on-3s become so defensive, and if you're not getting what you want, you're seeing them double back, go to there and regroup, come back up. Is it time to put a rule that if you go past your blue line, like it's just play dead?
I think what you do is you do kind of what the NBA does,
like over and
where
back, basically.
you're in the key too long, and you get a violation.
Oh yeah, I like the over and back on that, Duster.
Like you have a shot clock?
No, he's talking about once you cross your
blue line.
You mean your
it's
own
called
blue
like
line,
an
right?
offside. It's called like an offside, basically.
My only worry with that is the reason you went to a 5-minute 3-on-3 is to kind of make the game more exciting, less stoppage in overtime.
But it's
and
if you're going to add a violation, that could end up being pretty common.
What if you take the over and back rule, and if you violate it, instead of blowing it dead, the opposing the whistle, you hear a whistle that just the team has to flip it up back to the defense team at the time, and it keeps the game going. But they have to flip it to them.
So you're talking about like a dump in? Yeah, like a change of possession.
Yeah, they just flip it so that way the clock's still going and the game's still going.
That's a pretty creative way to get out of that there, Shadow. Sammy, so why is Sammy paying attention to hockey on here?
She just pays attention to all our shows. We love her for it.
Jeez, man, she is just a whore for some rinkside chatter. Speaking of Florida sucking.
Done.
And Chewy's never invited on the show again.
I love it.
What I was saying is, what if there was a shot clock? So teams can do that.
Shot clock would work too. So it forces the shot into play.
Right.
Yeah.
So it allows them to go back if they wanted to, but it doesn't reset the clock. Like the clock's still going. It only resets when his actual shot on net.
I mean, I'm good with the rule as long as it ensures that the Leafs are still terrible in overtime. let's get down to brass tacks here.
What's the saying, Dusty? Leafs tax or death taxes and Leafs losing in overtime.
There's lots of Leaf things.
Hey, listen, everybody in Michigan is rooting for an eventual cup for any Canadian team, preferably not the Leafs.
Okay. Me and Dusty have had these conversations at length. Me and Kyle, a.k.a. Fat Sexy, have had these conversations. I want to ask you two this because you're both original Six Markets. Do you actually believe that there's a curse somewhat in the Leafs organization?
You're asking a person that used to believe there was a curse in the Red Sox organization. So
yeah, I don't think there's a curse. I think it's just you got to get over the hump on it. I mean, look at
you got to want it.
You're having the same situation. You're having the same situation out in Edmonton. The Wings had that same situation, going into 95, 96. They're the Dead Wings, and all of a sudden it takes a culture shift. For us, it was Scotty Bowman, man. As soon as we got Scotty, it just changed the entire mentality of the team. If you want to port it over to baseball, like Scalz did over there, the 2006 Tigers, like that team was built on nothing until Jim Leland came in, just chain smoking cigarettes in the dugout.
You had the 2004 Red Sox who needed luck to come back from the 3-0 deficit, first ever team to do it in baseball.
Yep.
You needed the Cubs in, what was it, 2016?
Oh,
the 101 years.
101 years.
Bartman, baby.
Because there was so many things that happened that caused them not to win.
Yeah.
Like, you started to believe that there was an actual curse.
I remember when the Cubs won, and I really remember this. I put on Facebook, Cubs won. Why can't we?
Yeah, I remember that.
No, and I don't think it's a curse. And Shadow, you gotta. Hey, they made the second round last year. I think
would showing up for 5 games in round 2 really count as making the second round? Because that's not good enough for me.
They made the second round. I think they got a little bit of a blow off and a monkey off their back, and that kind of killed their momentum going into round 2.
That should have put every bit of energy into their legs to keep going.
They're missing They're missing a couple pieces. And maybe that couple of pieces is an organized. There's a coaching change somewhere along the way.
I agree with that 100%.
Maybe Matthews and Marner aren't the leaders, and
this is what I think needs to happen there. We need to get rid of Shanahan. I love the guy when he was a player, but he's not the culture Toronto needs. Coaching change potentially, but what we need to do, and me and Dusty have said this before, is they need to do what the Raptors did in 2019. Get rid of one of the core players, aka DeMar DeRozan, ship him out. Fan favorite, gone. Shock the culture.
Well,
and that'll think, oh shit, no one's safe. And I think that's the problem with the Leafs organization is you have Matty who thinks I'm untouchable, Marner, I'm untouchable. Nylander's in a contract year, so he knows he could be disposed if they really want.
He's playing right now.
He's playing lights out.
Nylander's playing on it now.
He's the one I wouldn't move.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a Mitch Marner guy, but maybe it's time for Mitch to go.
Yeah. I mean, I could see you getting rid of Tavares there. His contract's going to be
I think Tavares would be the one to go because he's older.
Yeah.
And any team that is, like, if Toronto is not a playoff team come trade deadline, he would be the person I would say, and they would retain salary on him.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go there, though. Come deadline, they're going to be a playoff team. Leafs are making the playoffs. All right, we don't have to get into that right now, but Leafs are making the playoffs. It's just a matter of how deep are they built for?
Yeah, that's just it, right? We need a goaltender by trade deadline, though. That's going to be the carrier.
Yeah.
Oh, Haley, he's not a trader. He just decided to come home. Imagine that.
Oh, weird. Hola, Will Gray. Hola.
That is true, yeah.
All right, let's bring up these women's league teams and talk about that.
All right.
So I'm surprised you haven't heard about it, Chewy, because it came from Clark Rasmussen of DetroitHockey.net. These are the 6 teams that the PWHL has filed trademarks for. Boston Wicked. Minnesota Superior.
Ooh.
Montreal Echo. New York Sound. Ottawa Alert. And Toronto Torch.
Man, they okay, listen. They nailed it with the first 2, all right? The Boston Wicked is just totally self-aware.
It looks good.
Totally self-aware, man.
I only like the Minnesota one.
And Superior, obviously Lake Superior, like those 2 hit the puck right on the bar there, man. The other ones, Ottawa Alert.
The only way I can accept the Toronto Torch is if the torch, like whatever that holds the flame, is the fucking CN Tower.
Yeah, that would make sense.
You're really on the CN Tower for the jersey, eh?
It would look killer.
Dude, think of that, how iconic that is to the city. It would be amazing on a jersey.
It's a Canadian icon. It's not a Toronto icon, apparently, right? When
you think of Toronto, do you really, other than homeless people, what's the next thing you think about?
Rogers Center.
What's
the Sky Dome?
The Sky. What's the? Is that the thing at the Sky Dome?
I think of those.
Yes, it's right next to the Sky Dome.
I think of those Japanese pancakes over there at Pua Pua.
Isn't that a restaurant?
There is a restaurant up there,
yeah.
In the CN Tower, yeah.
Spins, doesn't it?
They got good poutine up there.
Yeah, do you want to spend $60?
No, that's only in Montreal. You spend $60 on a poutine.
That's a couple too many
Right.
Louis for me, boys.
I don't get New
Our
York
poutines
sound.
are cheap in Montreal.
Like that one, and Montreal Echo. Like,
what is your soccer team?
Terrible.
Your MLS, New York what?
Well, there's the NYFC, New York Football Club, and then there's the Red Bulls are the two.
Well, you already got the WNBA team in New York is the New York Liberty.
Right.
And like that makes sense, right?
Yeah, Lady Liberty.
Kind of like the Boston Wicked or the Minnesota Superior, but man, they definitely could have done better. And I'm rooting for the PWHL, man. I really am. Women's hockey, I think, has probably the best chance of market survivability out of any female professional sport.
I wouldn't say that because we've seen the women's league come and go a couple times now.
Yeah, but it's got to have the right power behind it.
And I really liked the last time Toronto had a women's professional team. They were the Toronto Six.
Yeah,
and
that's where
that was
I'm
just that was good.
Well, it's like
Furies, which was really good too.
You know, you got to look at this. NHL set the table for it by starting to include the women's teams in the video games. So you're starting to get familiarized with women's hockey anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of laying the seeds on it, and as long as it's getting at least decent treatment in the media, I think it's an Olympic sport. So
yeah, I think it'll do well. The Toronto, what are they called? The Toronto Torch. They'll be playing out of Maple Leaf Gardens, which is awesome.
Yeah. And since you can't get tickets to Maple Leafs games, maybe you can get tickets to Torch games.
Or go to a Marlies game where they're playing for the right reasons too.
Oh, the Marlies. I've always loved that team name.
So is the women's Toronto team going to win a championship before the men's?
Probably.
Yes.
Every Toronto team other than the Jays, well, no, you could say the Jays too, have won a championship before the Leafs have won another cup.
Yeah, the Jays won in 92, right?
93 and 94, I think it was.
94.
Hey, speaking of 93, 94, Scalz's boys won the cup that year too.
I've seen them win the cup. I could die in peace. That's all I got to say.
Mark Messier, baby. I was rooting for the Canucks that year.
Yeah.
But they had Pavel Bure.
Yeah, freaking, and they stopped the penalty shot in the playoffs.
You'll love this tree, but you'll also hate this. When I first got into hockey, like heavy into hockey, was because of Detroit and Colorado.
Oh, the 96 March 27, the brawl down, baby.
But I like the Avs because they had Sakic, Forsberg, Foote.
Well, first off, before you go any further, fuck Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh.
Okay, fuck Patrick Waugh. And now please continue.
But that's why I fell in love with hockey. But I did enjoy the Red Wings. Like I said, I like Shanahan.
That matchup was just insane.
Oh yeah. Well, they were such evenly matched teams. In terms
we
of
need
defense,
rivalries like that again.
And that's what I don't think Bettman gets, and that's why the marketing of the game isn't taking off like it should. You have to instill rivalries, and all this bullshit with, hey, we're going to break up the divisions like this, and it's going to force rivalries. No, you're making unnatural rivalries. Why the hell would you split the Wings and the Blackhawks up?
See, that's the one thing that I brought up on last week's show, is the way the schedule is done. They need to go away from East teams playing West teams and build up the division matchups stronger. And that's how you get the rivalries. Like right now, the Rangers Devils, it doesn't feel like a good rivalry anymore.
Oh,
no. The Rangers and the Challengers. You play 4 times a year. How can you have a rivalry?
Mm-hmm.
But
when they played 7 times a year like that, like those games were intense.
Yeah. I'm with you.
They want to see Connor McDavid in all the markets.
Yeah,
so they want to sell
that.
Who does?
that kind of stuff.
Who?
Well, the NHL does,
like
because
the
when
NHL,
they
want to
when
see
the Rangers go to any arena, they sell out because it's the Rangers.
Yeah. So going to a Leaf game when they play Edmonton, right? Like say you could have went to a Nashville game for maybe $130,
mm-hmm.
but a game against Edmonton's like $275, $300 for 300 seats.
But that's not the NHL doing that. That's the teams themselves.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but it's not true either, because at the same time, like I want to take Laura to go watch Penguins and Leafs. and it's going to go $400 or $500 because Crosby's in town. Now, if Laura was a fan of, I don't know, let's say Arizona with whoever the fuck they got over there, all them, it's going to cost me $200 less to go.
Well, that's the problem, man. They're doing too much of what the NBA does, and that's a superstar controls the market. That's not, when you guys you're talking about the Wings Av rivalry, Shadow. That wasn't like, there were superstars on those teams, but it wasn't, hey, Steve Yzerman's coming to town. It wasn't, hey, Peter Forsberg's coming. No,
it's the fucking Red Wings are coming. Let's go, Wayne.
Yeah.
Well, what started with that was like the Steve Moore thing, right? Or Steve Moore. Was it Steve Moore?
Steve Moore got absolutely fucked up by Todd Bertuzzi. That's what you're thinking.
No, it was
that was when he was playing for the Nooks, though.
What was that incident? It was between Detroit and
it was Draper. It was
Draper, yeah, exactly.
It was Lemieux on Draper.
Yeah.
Which by the way, even as a Detroit fan, that was out of character for Lemieux. Like before that point, he was not that type of player. So that was kind of a fucking shocker.
Speaking of Lemieux, I asked these boys in the very first episode of Ringside Chat, and I'm going to ask you now. Had Lemieux not gotten sick, would he have been better than Gretzky?
You talking about Mario or Claude?
Mario.
I'm going to go no.
I personally am not a big fan of Wayne Gretzky. To me, he's not the greatest of all time. That belongs to Mario.
I think that belongs to Gordie Howe. Considering the time of the game and the way he played the game and for how long as he played the game.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
50s basically, didn't he not?
Yeah, mostly 50s.
Back in high school when I played football as well, I played in a bowl that was called the Gordie Howe Bowl that his family donated, like him and his family, in the city of Saskatoon. I thought that was the coolest fucking thing ever.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I think when you're looking at GOAT, that's that. Now, could Lemieux have been right up there with him? Oh yeah, for sure. And I think you still got to put him up there with him. But
I know these guys answer. But like, do you believe that there's a greatest of all time, or do you think there's a greatest of an era?
I think in hockey, you're looking at greatest of era. Like you can make that argument in basketball, and you can make the debate between Jordan and LeBron all you want. But when it comes to hockey, it's era because the way the game is played is entirely evolved over decades.
Oh, it's over the past 10 years.
It's like when I went to the first practice for the Birds this year, and you look in net, you see Brown, and you're going, son of a bitch, man! They got 16-year-old kids here that are 6'6" behind the net, and I'm thinking of the days when it was Grant Fuhr's in there at 5'9" and he's tops, or Cujo's in there at 5'10", and that's tops out for a netminder.
So with my job, I get I got quite a few kids that play in American hockey systems. They're getting their license, so I have a driver examiner. I get some of these kids that are like goalies, and even just in the U.S. system, college systems, and it's like these kids are absolute monsters.
Oh yeah,
like it's like. It looks like when they're grabbing the wheel, their two hands are like almost the size of the fucking wheel. Like it's fucked.
Yeah, it's insane. Just the way and the style the game is played today is so much different than it was. So you can't say, plop Wayne Gretzky down in today's game and expect him to be a Connor McDavid. You can't plop, take Gordie Howe, put him in and expect him to be the same type of player that Ovi is. What
are you talking about? If we're talking Gordie Howe in today's NHL, fuck Pinto's suspension of 41 games. Howe would be suspended for fucking 3 seasons.
Yeah. Andy would have beat the shit out of the officials.
Yeah.
No, that was man hacky back then, man.
But you would also have to think shit. If you plop like Gretzky in, right? But you'd also say he grew up with the same training as like the kids did too, with all the technology and the sticks and that. Maybe they could have been something even more special.
Well,
I don't think so.
That brings up a really interesting fact, though, because obviously we all know Warrior hockey now, and the funny thing about Warrior hockey is that's the stick that Zdeno Chara used to break the shot speed record.
Yeah.
Well, do you know who the founder of Warrior hockey was? Scalz will like this one. It was Ally Frady.
Okay, yeah.
Oh shit!
who held the
Who
record?
held the record before that?
102 miles an hour with a fucking Sherwood. So yeah, you look at technology differences. I mean, even the size of the pad. You know, we talk about Patrick Waugh being a piece of shit and getting every type of advantage he could get.
Nobody but you says this.
What? That Patrick Waugh's a piece of shit?
You gotta love the guy.
No. As a matter of fact, we were cheering loudly in Detroit when we shelled him for like, what was it? Fucking 12 goals.
Why did he hurt you?
And the Habs traded him.
Oh, that
he
was
on
great.
the bench.
Threw a fucking fit.
Yeah. We cheered our asses off, and of course he went to Colorado, our big rival, and won a cup over there.
Hey, listen, I was more hyped for that cup for Ray Bourque getting it.
Yeah, no, that was a good story. And you know what? Honestly, looking back at the rivalry, you see it and you go, "Damn, man! I really liked Forsberg. I really liked Sakic. I really liked Foote. I really liked Alex Tanguay." But the one person that you will always, and hell, I even like Claude Lemieux now. Like, dude took his licks. He paid his time. But the one piece of shit, man, Patrick Waugh. We're talking about a guy who literally sent his kid off of the bench to go attack another player. And not
I forgot about that.
100% right, yeah.
Like, Patrick Waugh's a fucking, like, okay, I get it, man. Goalies are head cases, but Patrick Waugh.
But you guys just brought up, two things I want to say. One, when we were watching this Detroit-Colorado rivalry, we weren't realizing we were watching bona fide Hall of Famers. Like, at that time.
On both sides.
Loaded on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the second thing to that is, like, you look at the players that Colorado's produced, and I mean, even now, and their franchise is still storied, and it's wild to me. Like, it's just crazy. Detroit's just becoming, like, you got Larkin still in the system. You got, like, all these players that are becoming dominant forces in the NHL now. Like,
yeah. Well, and again, that's just an homage and a testament to teams are built different these days, in the way that you get to the cup is entirely different than you would have in the early 2000s, in the 90s. And that's what I think the problem is with the Leafs, Shadow, is they're built to be, in the same with Edmonton. They're built to be regular season champions. And you can't do that anymore. This isn't 1996 with the Red Wings. You know, this isn't, you can't have a team that's going to go run the distance, break the record for NHL points, and then win the cup.
We've seen that last year, and what was it, Boston? They obliterated, and then they just disappeared.
Well, that's why, like, the Lightning, that string that they went on, if you notice, they were keeping some of their key players out for like a month at a time.
Yeah,
just getting them rest.
Yeah, we don't talk about them circumventing the cap.
But you know what? No. In fairness to that,
no, you're right.
The argument to that is Tampa brought that up years ago,
right?
With Chicago, and the league said, "Oh well, this is how it works."
Right?
So they said, "Okay, fuck you," and they went on a fucking run.
No, I don't blame them for doing it.
Always Chicago.
They called out another team on doing it. The league didn't do anything, so they used it to their advantage.
That saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them.
That's also why you had last year. The NHL said if you're trading for the intention of putting somebody directly on cap, on IR to save and circumvent cap, you're not doing it.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out this year, though, because it's now more of a standard rule. So you said it, Chewy, and we alluded, and Scalz alluded to it when the rivalry came to almost a head with Ray Bourque winning his cup. Now that lets me segue into the man that retired officially today.
Yeah,
Joe Thornton.
Jumbo.
He is arguably, in my opinion, one of the greatest NHL players to never win the cup.
Yeah, I'll put him up there.
He made Jonathan Chichu a bona fide 50-goal scorer.
Damn. You know what the irony is, man? And I said this earlier. In 1997, the IHL Detroit Vipers won the Turner Cup, and their star player was Sergei Samsonov. Now, Samsonov got drafted the next season, number 16 overall by the Boston Bruins, who also drafted with the number 1 overall, Jumbo Joe Thornton. So it's like I got that really, really close in, and in watching Samsonov play alongside of Thornton, you really got to see the beginnings of the career of Joe Thornton. And he was great in Boston, he was, but it wasn't until he went over to the West Coast where you're like, damn, man, like this guy's the total game.
Right. And one more thought before, because I mean we finished up all our weekly stuff, but one more thought on that is when I used to I still play NHL video games. But back in the day when I would build my teams, always had Samsonov. That guy was just fire. Like
he burnt out quick.
But he was such a good player. Even when he went to Edmonton and they went on that cup run.
Yep. Interesting fun fact here. Sergei Samsonov played a shift with Gordie Howe.
I feel like Gordie Howe has played with everybody
in an actual game. Gordie Howe played a shift with Sergei
That's just
Samsonov.
like Yager, man. I think it was 2 years ago the streak was broken, but it continued again the following year, where a teammate of his was in the cup final or something. Like it was so stupid.
Yep.
All right, that has been this week with Ringside Chatter. Chewy, tell people where they can find you.
Hold on, we still got to make our picks for this week.
Let's make those picks. Right. Yeah, come on.
I forgot
that.
Still hockey.
That and hot takes. That's what we have left, and then we can get on out of here.
Let's go.
Who's making hot cakes?
Hot
I got a hot take.
All right.
Your wife doesn't count.
Ooh.
So Chewy, your team is the Red Wings, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see how many games they have this week.
I think we got 3 this week.
It seems like it's the standard this year.
Yeah, we got the Isles, the Bruins, and the Panthers.
Yeah, we got LA.
Yes, you have 3. Yep.
We have LA, Boston, and then we have Buffalo next Saturday. That actually I'm going to.
The Sabres.
Yeah. So
I think I'll kick it off here. I think the Wings are, Panthers look good, Bruins look good. Isles, whatever. I'm smelling a 2-1 week. I think we're gonna get a sneaker there against the Panthers, who always seem to have our number. But Boston's just looking real, real good right now, and I don't see a win there.
It's crazy because it's supposed to be a down year for Boston too. It's wild.
Yeah.
So
pasta
was
time,
last year.
baby. Pasta.
So was last year.
So 2-1-0.
Yep. Yeah, I got 2-1-0.
Okay, Dusty.
2-0-1.
Always got an OTL there.
Shadow.
We play LA, Boston, and Buffalo. 1-2.
Oh.
We'd never fucking beat Buffalo for some fucking reason.
But we're at home against them. It's
So
in
we
Buffalo. We
we
struggle.
play Winnipeg, Carolina, and Minnesota.
I got a 2-1 there.
I was gonna say I think we're gonna go 2-1.
Yeah.
All right. Hot
And then
takes.
what? A hot take?
Yeah,
I got you. I got your hot take right here. Right now, the Detroit Red Wings lead the league in scoring with 36 goals. 4. We're not going to mention the goals against because it's not good. But my hot take is that remains through the remainder of the week, and we come out still leading the NHL in scoring.
So Red Wings lead NHL in scoring.
Yeah, but it's a slim margin. I think we goals for Wings are 36, next closest the Canes with 34, and then you got the Kings with 32.
And Ottawa with 32.
How the hell has Ottawa got 32 goals and are sitting at 4-4?
No idea.
I mean, they lit up at Pittsburgh tonight, I think, for 5 or 6.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Scorers league. But yeah, that's my hot take.
My hot take this week is San Jose wins a game.
Go Seals! Go Seals, baby!
All the way to second place, right?
God, that's dog shit out there, boys.
I am going to go with Willie becomes the all-time point to open the season. 9 games. Tied a record tonight. I say breaks it.
Good take.
Very doable against the Kings.
Yeah.
Is that the longest for
Franchise.
For the
The
franchise?
franchise, yeah. I think JT. Did JT get a point tonight too?
I'd have to look. I don't remember. I'll
If
go look right now.
JT got a point, I'm going to say he did then. Him too.
All right. I think that right now there's 2 undefeated teams.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I don't think anyone's undefeated now.
No?
Well, undefeated in regulation.
Right. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So there's 2 teams that have earned a point in every game they've played.
Right.
That's the better way to say it.
There you go.
I think at the end of next week, we'll still have 2.
Oh.
Wow.
To answer your question, Duster, JT's streak snapped tonight.
Okay, so it's just Willie then.
It's just Willie.
What is the longest streak in the NHL history?
Like 30-some games by Gretzky.
The Undertaker went 21-0 at WrestleMania before he lost to Brock Lesnar. Oh, shit. Wrong podcast, boys.
All right.
I was going to make an AEW joke about the attendance in the Flynn arenas, but it wasn't not the right spot.
Okay, with that being said, this has been Ringside Chatter this week. Chewy, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can check me out on Instagram, The Real DJ Chewy, or go ahead and check me out on the TikToks, Casey Lambert, straight up, or check out the Wrestle Bros. We don't post a lot, but hey, we're still around.
Dusty.
You can find me on Twitter at McDuster705 or Instagram McDuster705 as well.
It's called X now, Duster.
I refuse to call it that.
You can find me here every Saturday night with Ringside Chatter, or every Monday night with Sorry for the Interruption, where we don't give a fuck about interrupting your regular scheduled programming. Or You can find me on Twitter at ThatGuyShadow.91 and TikTok at ThatGuyShadow.91.3.
Lots of dots.
I'm Scalz. You can find me here on Off the Top on Twitch and YouTube, as well as Off the Top Media _ on TikTok, Instagram, and as Chewy says, X. Programming note.
Give it to you.
Tomorrow, 11 a.m. on Rivet City Radio, we have River City Red Zone. And then tomorrow, 8 p.m. starts the subathon on River City Radio. Make sure you check it out. And we'll see you all next week on another edition of Ringside Chatter. Have a great evening.
Take care, y'all.